All right, so Baylor recruiting when it comes to the class of 2025 today, a big offensive lineman. We know they've been able to pick up some skilled people and defensive linemen, and today they ended up taking a player that was committed to Vanderbilt. He's Matthew Parker from Jackson Prep in Mississippi, 6'8", 305-pound offensive lineman, has committed to Baylor after visiting Baylor, and the Bears get an offensive lineman. I saw Mason Miller, of course, was pumped up today on his Twitter feed.
Yeah, it's a continued momentum for this recruiting class. The 2025 class is just speeding right on along, and surprising that we haven't felt this way in so long. But then again, I guess not surprising just given their struggles the last couple of years. But it's amazing what a breath of fresh air some recruiting momentum can be, especially when it's not just picking up guys, but it's picking up what appears to be quality and stars and things of that nature. Now, he's not highly rated like some of the other recent commits, but he adds to a position of great need on the offensive line of where they've had some success. It's been at running back. It's been at, skill positions, wide receiver. It hasn't as much been on the offensive line. So they need bodies. That's, if you look at the class, like, all right, where does it still need a lot of work on the line? And so to see that come down today was certainly great news. And to flip him from the SEC, from Vanderbilt, is also always good to, get a flip when you can possibly do that. And maybe there's more flips in the works. I mean, they had some visitors this past weekend, a lot of their current commits. They had Burns, the linebacker, committed to Texas Tech, who came in. And so they're not done by any means. We'll see what they still got cooking and up their sleeve. But just good to see them get their second commit coming out of the weekend. The first one was a 2026 running back out of Honeygrove. And so he
Ryland Morris, yep.
He got the party started on, I guess that was Saturday or Sunday. And then you see some of the lasting effects of that here today with this pledge. So, yeah, they're in a great run right now, to be sure. And really excited about what this can turn into if they're able to actually keep it all together and go win enough games this season to sign this class and then build off of that. That'll be the most important thing, obviously. But not disappointed in the slightest in what they've got going right now.
Yeah, go win some games this fall. Get to a bowl game. Hopefully win that game. And then you can see that it is, in the past in college football, is really hard to change who you were really fast. And I think especially for coaches, because you had to do different things. But I do applaud Dave Aranda in saying, okay, it's been 2 years here of dud recruiting, and we're not making the waves that we need to. So how do we change that, and what's available to us to do that? And how do I break from what I want it to be in my head from what it is in reality? And I think that's a really hard thing for human beings to do.
Dave Aranda had to look in the mirror.
Yeah, exactly. But it's hard. It's really hard for people to change and to change how they look at it. And his wasn't stubborn in the fact that he was trying to be old-fashioned. He was trying to be too democratic or not democratic, but too Candyland with everything. Like, everything needs to be even.
Everybody, no matter where you are, we're going to get the same amount of money. Star or third-string long snapper.
That's great, but that's not how that works in any walk of life.
By the way, Craig, there was the article. We'll get to this later in the show if we have time. If not, we're going to do this for sure. But there was a Sic'Em 365 staff roundtable. Here are the titles to everybody's response: Colt, Grayson, Travis, and Craig. Colts was be competitive and make a bowl.
You should probably
on the website. It's on the website, Sic'Em365.com. What?
You should probably preface what the question is.
That's what I said. What's considered a successful season?
You didn't say that.
Oh, I did? Okay.
You left that part
What's
out.
considered thank you for letting me know that. So it's on the website. Colt said be competitive and make a bowl. Grayson's was make a bowl. Travis, you know it when you see it. Craig's was, are we having fun? Yeah, and Travis and Craig, they're all well done, but that kind of, those two, you'll know it when you see it, because we knew it pretty early last year. What we saw was not going to be good.
Yeah, and Travis, me and Grayson reporting the podcast, the Bearcast, earlier today, which is our Baylor podcast each Tuesday at 11:15 over on that channel, Baylor Athletics on Sic'Em 365, and he put a question in the mailbag, or just a comment in our mailbag of saying that he liked my answer and that he remembers us being at the Tech game last year and sitting in the press box and both just like halfway through that game just being like, this sucks, let's get out of here, because it was just so awful to watch. And that was what the whole season was like. Every week you were like, all right, 6 more games left. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, who are they playing this week? And it was a drag, and it wasn't fun, and it was not something anybody was really looking forward to. It was just more of like, at some point, you just got to finish out the season and see where it goes and then get to the offseason and get excited about that. And so, yeah, it was a total drag, and that's kind of the basis of my response there is, yeah, clearly you're going to see if they're better based on the number of wins, but that's not going to tell the whole tale. Are they winning in style, or are they winning and having fun winning, or are they getting lucky and getting a couple bounces against bad teams and they win 2 extra games? See, that's not improvement. That's just being luckier. Whereas if out there they're having fun, they're flying around, they're smiling and, winning games and doing all that, then, yeah, I think that'll be very clearly a successful season no matter what the win total looks like at the end of that. So that's where I was coming from, is just let's have some fun, man. Let's enjoy football.
Yeah, I agree. And then also I like the fact you'll know it when you see it. I think you will. Is it going to be that let's go to the morgue for 3.5 hours to go watch a football game?
I would compare it to this. And I like what Travis said there. If you blindfolded me and said, okay, we're going to go to 2 gas station bathrooms. One of them will be a Buc-ee's. It will be immaculately clean, and you won't really know that you're in a bathroom until I take off the blindfold. And the other one,
I think you might know before then, but go ahead.
Will be a truck stop that I pick in the weirdest part of the highway.
Yeah. And
that was kind of how Baylor was last year. Like right away, you're like, I don't think I want to be in this room. And it was really bad. And that's I don't see that coming this year. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for all the Big 12, but especially for a team that's trying to rebound like Baylor. It's going to be hard, but I do think that they are pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, it will be clear to see, whether they're better or not, I think, and that'll be in the style of their play. And I just wanted to hammer this home. Do you realize what their 3 wins were last year? It was an awful showing in the opener against a what was that? Texas? Who was
Long
that?
Island.
No,
Long Island.
They lost to Texas State, but they beat Long
3
Island
wins,
and
talking
struggled
about.
to do it. Yeah,
They struggled to beat Long Island at home, which was their only win at home the entire year, mind you, and that was in the first 2 weeks of the season. And then it was this miraculous comeback against UCF, and it was fending off Cincinnati at the very end of the game and finding a win there. That was their 3 wins, and those were all 3. None of them were impressive. They were brutal, and so, yeah, I think it'll be very clear how different this team is pretty quickly.
And the miraculous win against UCF is still hard to fathom.
There's a little bit of breaking news.
Yeah,
We're just
I
talking
saw
about
that, yeah.
Baylor recruiting.
Kaleb Burns, who had been committed to Texas Tech, but go ahead, Craig.
Well, Kaleb Burns, who was committed to Texas Tech, 2025 linebacker, visited Baylor this past weekend, and he has flipped to the Bears from Texas Tech. He had committed to Tech just on July 1st, so Baylor was one of the final schools that was involved with him when he made his decision. It was a big win for Joey McGuire and that staff in Lubbock, and here is that momentum that we were talking about on the recruiting trail as the Bears go and grab Kaleb Burns and flip him. So that is at a big position of need at linebacker, and that is a guy they really, really wanted, and that is a huge flip for Dave Aranda and company. So, yeah, man, they're cooking with fish grease right now.
Yeah, and he had 21 total offers so far. In the 24/7 composite, he's listed as a 3-star, but based on the numbers, he's like right on the edge of being a 4-star linebacker, if that means anything to you. But pretty much, I mean, every school in Texas but about 3, it looks like, offered him. So, not to mention SEC, Big 12, ACC, all over the place.
This is a commitment that happened decommitment in less than a month. He had committed to Tech back on July the 1st.
Yeah, so he was highly, highly sought after. Look, Cypress, Texas, there outside of Houston, has a couple high schools in it, and they just keep feeding the monster. That's one of the better little recruiting neighborhoods, I guess, if you want to call
anything
it.
in Houston.
Yeah, but like in Houston in particular, if you wanted to say like, okay, where can I go? Like I'm going to go to Shadow Creek. I'm going to Katy. I'm probably going to go to Cypress. I'm going to make sure I hit those places for sure.